forward to it, folks.
Yeah, there's still plenty of action to be had. We got Denka Diaz in the winner's bracket. You can take a look at it on your screen right now. We got Denka Diaz, Item, Samurai, Punk, Cool Kid, Neon, Chris CCH, and Nephew all still in the bracket to go.
And again, he's representing himself very well for Oakland, but Idom terrorizing the East Coast so much that he gave the other folks a chance of normals. You'll see it right here in the replay as to how it went down. But first of all, make sure you get your full servings and helpings of this demon. Thank you very much. That's how we started off the rounds here at Red Bull Conquest. And then boom, here we go. Full-on punish from Idom. Nice and easy. But again, let's talk about this walk speed, the normals that Samurai presents. All right, we're gonna get this knockdown. What happens afterwards?
Great, no biting there, but then this is the walk speed. Oh, man. Gets real close, and that's the tough thing about Akuma, right, is that he can throw bait by walking forward with that forward fierce. It's so hard to tell what he's gonna do.
Yeah, just a lot of really good decisions here from Samurai. His clutch factor in the end there with the two fireballs, and he was able out of it for online just yet. You see him, his name goes to the lower bracket.
Yeah, you know Oakland/San Francisco was definitely feeling good about that, though. Garen, he knows about the cheap pops. He knows.
Living up to his name, I like that a lot. Punk, always a great sport. Now, give us a little insight on the young man, Denka Diaz from Los Angeles.
Denka Diaz, of course, always off-brand, rocking the Dragon Ball Fighters hoodie.
Always out of place. But Denka Diaz really embodies Street Fighter V Dhalsim, right? This character got so many changes in the 2 out of 3 sets that are going to happen before the winners finals. You're going to see the replay right here. This is a familiar sight for Dhalsim players here. In the corner versus Karen, man, it's a rough situation.
Oh yeah, for Karen players as well. They understand the dynamic of how this matchup is supposed to go. She has one sole objective, deal the damage, close the gap, and then go on to the next game.
Overhead ending multiple times. You saw he actually interrupted it there, but again, he was like kind of fuzzy blocking, going from crouch block to stand, and he just did it at the
matchup. Is the spacing once he got into the corner perfectly in that stand medium. This is one of the teams that does have a chance at taking this entire Red Bull Conquest with the advent of Dot Nova winning Guilty Gear, and he got a lot of points for his team. And Neon has the ability to close it out for his home city. So let's see what he's got. He's gonna face the gun,
and all this couldn't be possible without some replays. Hold on for a second. We got, yeah, he was really working that for the overhead.
That's like one of the main tools that Neon wants to use as a poke, but again, an even bigger fierce from the Cool Kid, that extensive hitbox, and even so on the crouch medium punch, you saw him clinch it out over Neon in that set, but wait a minute, it's not over. Neon showing some signs of life, and you see it right here.
Yeah, he was really put in a bad situation in this part right here. He was at set point, and then Neon turned it on. Even after the TX command grab, he wasn't phased. He knew exactly what to do. But man, Cool Kid made it rough. The parry right through, he knows when to...
Oh yeah, and that was a clean jump out of the EX run into the command grab.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Again, Neon, he wasn't going down without a fight. You saw a very, very convincing win, tying it all up, and you see his boys in the back. The subtle pop-offs, teammates yell.
I mean, it close. Yeah, that was a beautiful cross-up with the parabellum drop. Cost him the match, cost Atlanta the victory. That's unfortunate, but Cool Kid's gonna be moving on to lower bracket round 2 as you take an updated look at the bracket here. We got one more round of lower.
That's what I'm talking about. Big shout outs to Hyundai supporting us here at Red Bull Conquest. And again, we are down to the second part of the losers bracket. We have the youngin' Chris CCH versus Nephew. I feel like at this point, everybody else is significant.
Talk about, you know, margins. This guy has been it the entire time. Let's show you the replay real quick. Absolute domination. This entire set, Chris CCH really just in the corner the entire time. You felt like he never had the ability to get started.
I'm glad they kept that in there in the replay, the little stage interaction.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, you can see the frustration building for Chris CCH.
Very tricky situation. You saw how dominant she is with her normal, and then beat her again.
And what a way to finish it off, right? And whenever Nephew had Chris CCH in the corner, he would just harass with those crouch medium punches. Walk forward, crouch medium punch, walk forward, crouch medium punch. And then he stopped walking forward, hit him with the long range normal, crushed him, and moved on in the bracket.
Versus Abigail, a real troublesome match for Dhalsim. Or actually, I would say it's kind of difficult to tell, right? Because he does have active defense. He does have normals to kind of keep Abigail away. But if he closes the gap, it could be lights out for Dolls. More activity in the air. You saw in the earlier rounds right here, and Cool Kid took advantage of how many times Danka Diaz wanted to move around the screen and get away rather than play the active defense. Got away with majority of these command grabs. Again, look at this. Even with the immense life deficit, Cool Kid still trying to gun it, but didn't get to time that very well.
Yeah. We also saw that later in the set as well. He tried the same thing. Might be a replay coming up soon. Nice teleport out of the way of the EX run punch. You can see him feeling it now, feeling it. He is the kid. That boy's young. He didn't even know what Space Jam was when I asked him about it. True story. But he's still a good kid. Don't let
He's
that.
still a good kid. He's still a good kid.
That, you
He
know.
puts a lot of effort into this game, man. That's how you know he knows the matchup, because he really studies and he really puts in a lot of work here. So when he's put on the ropes versus the likes of Cool Kid, he knows what he needs to do. He knows the adjustments he needs to make in order to take the win.
Very, very great example of what you need to do as a professional player, right? You reassess what's going on. You take your time with it. Do not rush. And trust in the training. You see Danka Diaz really changing things up, taking it over Cool Kid. And again, these guys are titans in their community. And so we expect nothing less but an extraordinary finish for the Cool Kid. And Danka Diaz, again, move.
Danka Diaz still alive in that 4th place. The higher he goes, the higher Los Angeles goes.
Right, and as long as your team is in the bracket right now, your team still has a chance to win it right now. They all have a chance at making it.
Played nothing but the gauntlet, and then immediately went from the qualifiers to the big show. No rest.
Yeah, incredible stuff from them. Incredible mental endurance, right? I mean, that's something that's often overlooked when we talk about these tournaments, is how important it is to keep your mental sharp and how hard it is to do so. Nephew looking solid all throughout today and yesterday.
You know, the Colleen Army is definitely being represented well with the likes of Nephew here. He's doing so well for himself. He's going to have to face against Danka Diaz in losers semis, and that's going to be a good one for sure. I mean, you know, a character like that, parries, you can make a good read from downtown. It can suck you back in and run that Oki game. So we'll see how that plays out. Idom, though, had a fantastic run. He did great for Team Online, and really, I was just so impressed with him the entire weekend. He went through some heavy hitters in order to get to this spot. So congratulations to him. However, that does mean that Online is going to have to bow out. And that is going to be it for them. They did really well this turn. Better than I thought they would do, though. Between the likes of Otashi, Glaciating, and Idom as well, they were a team to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they were one of the strongest teams in the roster, right? We kind of see that that's the nature of the beast when it comes to online qualifying. Excited to see how it goes down. We are down to the final 4 for the rest of Street Fighter V.
Yeah, and really, you know, we were talking about all the storylines as we're going along. Remember, this is a team tournament. Although you guys are playing in separate tournaments, it's all about your region. So this winners final is going to be a big one, right? Who is going to put them?
My Karen. That was his attitude approaching the match.
That is unbelievable. That's the amount of confidence that that he's brought back to his game, right? This is the 2017 Punk that just dominated all throughout the year, got all the way to EVO with that confidence. It's back, baby.
And we saw the pace set by Samurai against the secondary pick from Punk using the Sagat. You saw it wasn't working out too well. Samurai really got the best of Punk here in a solid 2-0 victory. And then you see Punk, he was scheming the whole time. How much meditation can you go through to prepare yourself for this mental breakdown?
That's a great point. He's going to have a couple of minutes to do so, right, since he has to wait the winner of loser semifinals.
But man, you saw right when he switched to the Karen, a flip was switched in his head. It went from a guy who was just willing to throw out DPs whenever he wanted, he didn't care whether they were blocked or not, to a man who made constant, amazing, calculated decisions, even as calculated as having all the momentum in the world and just backing up, just letting Samurai hang himself. These are decisions that are made when you know you have control of the neutral whenever you want.
Oh, and you saw that call out from Punk on the way out, and again, yeah, Samurai, you saw a little bit of breaking there mentally, but the Demon, you thought it was gonna be over? Not even close. Punk narrowly escaping the clutches of the Demon, and that put him in a prime position to take it over Samurai. As you see here, towards the end of the match, it was a lot of Punk taking this momentum, no resources to be had from Samurai, fighting out of the corner, a very tough spot to be in when you're a low vitality Demon.
And we've seen him in so many sets with that stand short in the throw, right? Just so hard to deal with when you're on a pixel of health. As you can see, the updated bracket once
getting himself ready against the Colleen specialist from Washington, D.C.'s team. Now again, Sammy mentioned this earlier. This is going to be a very, very vital moment for Team Los Angeles if they plan to take the #1 spot here at Red Bull Conquest, because he has a
No small feat.
and it's all killers, man. They're in the spots they earn. They're here for a reason. You see that reason right there. Nephew taking down the young gunner, Tangadillas, in a very convincing fashion towards the beginning of that set. And look at this chase down right here. Enough of the tomfoolery. Get back down here.
And as sad as I am that LA's hopes are, diminished, and I'm sad as I am that Tangadillas is out of the tournament, I can't help but be impressed with Nephew's run. With his overall gameplay, again, we've talked about it time and time again. The man had his flight canceled. He had his winner's bracket side seat DQ'd and still made it through the LCQ. Still made it into top 3 of Conquest for Street Fighter V.
If that's not a story in and of itself, I don't know what is.
I mean, it is time to be tested, though. This year.
We all know how much you love Japan,
Oh,
Jared.
yeah. I'm all about it. We got to visit Japan the first tournament in 2018, and again, it was a spectacle. It was literally dreams come true. And again, what better
On the comeback of the story of the tournament, which is he's just one after another. He has to overcome these obstacles. One more overcomes Oakland, and he's gonna move on to grand finals.
So Oakland/San Francisco is now done earning points. They got 3rd place overall for Street Fighter V. We'll see how that shakes up a little later on the leaderboards. But New York is most definitely in the pole position at this point.
That's right. They are in that top spot with Punk
were you guys
currently
surprised?
sitting in the grand finals. He's waiting his fate against Nephew. But let's take a look at the stats, right? Punk is sitting in grand finals winner's side. He's got a full set in advantage against Nephew, so that puts him in a very, very prime position to win it all.
And speaking of him having a whole set to spare, I want to see how he experiments against Nephew. We saw him experiment a little bit up against Samurai, pulling out the cigar, kind of toying with him a bit. With a whole set to spare, I expect to see more games from Punk, so to speak.
And it's kind of wild. It kind of mimics the kind of onslaught Samurai went through in the previous part of the bracket on winner's side. You saw him go 3-2. He hit it all the way to grand finals against the like of Punk.
Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff from all our competitors here for Street Fighter V. And let me see. I see Punk hovering over Balrog right now. You know that's not his character. That's not even what he's gonna.
We can take a look at this.
So we're taking a look at replays right now, see how Punk exactly became the champion, or the MVP, I should say, of Street Fighter V. Man, he's real used to celebrating on these Red Bull stages, huh?
All about. Yeah, that's how he made a name for himself in the beginning with the inception of Red Bull Proving Grounds, exactly where he grabbed the spotlight for himself, made himself a household name, and continued his legacy. And he continues to do so here in Street Fighter V with this overwhelming victory with the mirror match over Nephew.
Yeah, I know, right? And you can't say enough about this guy. You know, it is crazy for him to pick a character like the opponent's main and beat him with it. That is crazy in and of itself, but it is goes to show how strong of a fundamental player he is. As just a core Street Fighter player, this guy is out of this world, and the confidence being showed at Punk in 2018 cannot be overstated. This guy looks phenomenal going into CPT final.
I mean, he definitely got his groove back, you feel me? For a while there, he wasn't looking like the Punk of old, but now, ever since the Purge, the Echo Fox Purge, he's been out to prove a point.
And And what a point to be made, reigning as the king here at Red Bull Conquest. King all the way, an undefeated streak. As you see, the Team Oakland, and then an overwhelming victory over Team Washington, D.C.
Sir, shout outs to Decay as well, rocking the